Hi everyone, I want to share today a technique to create a textured background using alcohol inks. So I'm going to start by going through some of the things that you're going to need for this technique. You will need obviously an ink applicator and some alcohol inks of your choosing. You will also need just some ordinary white cardstock. You will need some regular sellotape and some masking tape. You need some PVA glue, and then you need some things to create texture with. So the kind of things that I use, this is cheesecloth, so cloth with an open weave texture works very well, or you could use some lace fabric as well. You could put accent beads on there, they're the tiny beads without holes. You could use some sequins, these are iridescent sequins. But any sequins would work, and one of my favourite things to add is fantasy film. Okay, so to begin the technique, what you need to do is to take your sellotape and your masking tape and rip it into small random pieces and apply it just in a random fashion to your card. And I'm just using ATC size cardstock just to do a small sample for you, but this works on any size cardstock at all. So it could be quite useful. You can create ATCs with it, but it's quite a good technique for creating book covers with as well. And I will show you a sample of that when we finish the tutorial. Okay, so that's the sellotape and masking tape quite randomly. I'm then going to apply some of the cheesecloth using some PVA glue and a paintbrush. So I'm just going to start by quickly covering the card with some of the PVA. And then I'm going to place on some cheesecloth there, and I might put another piece across there also. And then I'm also going to add a couple of pieces of fantasy film into there. I think there's enough glue in that area. And you basically keep layering it up with different items that are going to create some texture. Until you're happy with what you've got. The more texture you add, the harder it's going to be to embellish. So if you're using embellishments like paper stock images, for example, you're going to want to keep it fairly flat. If you're doing a book cover and you want to add things like grunge board elements and things that you can adhere and are going to stay down without you seeing the texture through it, then obviously you can add more things like the sequins and the seed beads. Once you've done that, it is best to let it dry in this stage, but the next thing is to coat all of it with PVA, and you need a really good coat because this is going to be a seal between the cardstock and the texture pieces and the alcohol inks that you put on top. And if you don't seal it properly with the PVA, then your alcohol inks are not going to create the desired effect. You're looking for an effect that's similar to the polished stone effect that you get if you use glossy card, so you really do need the PVA to coat it. Okay, so once you've done that, you then need to set that aside until it's completely dry, and you know when it's dry because the PVA goes clear and you can see your fantasy film and everything else really clearly. So here's a piece that has been dried. Okay, and the next stage here would be to take your ink applicator and whichever colours of alcohol ink you want to use. So I've got the raisin, that's the first one I'm going to use, and I'm also going to use the mushroom. And then you just need to use the usual pouncing motion over the piece and apply the colour until you're happy with it. The only thing I will say about this is if you go over it too much, after a while the texture starts to become sticky, which I think is the PVA glue reacting with the alcohol inks. So try to do one coat and then don't really go back to it. But that's the effects that you get from that colourway, and I'll just show you a few different samples that I've done. This one here, you can see the fantasy film and the cheesecloth in that one. Oops. The colours on that one are pesto and raisin. This one here, again, the same components that I've just shown you. This one is butterscotch, terracotta and bottle. This one here is eggplant and pesto, which is really pretty. This one is eggplant, cranberry and slate, and there's also a little bit of gold mixative in that one as well. And this one is pesto, ginger and espresso, and there's some of the accent beads in this one as well. So you can pick those up, and obviously because you've put a lot of PVA, they're not going to move anywhere. Quite often people have problems with those falling off. And this one here has got the iridescent sequins in there as well. And that colour combination is stream denim and wild plum. And the last sample I'm going to show you is this one, which is terracotta and denim, which is one of my favourite colour combinations for the alcohol inks. And I'm also going to show you, I've got a few ATCs that have been made up. This is just a set, so they're all fairly similar but different stamps. And the colours on this one were cranberry and eggplant, I think. It was either cranberry or raisin, one of the reddish ones with eggplant. So there's that one and this one. As I say, they're all very similar apart from the stamps because they were just made into a set. So that's those. And the other one I'm going to show you is a book cover. I worked on a collaborative house book where you had to make art in the shape of a house last year, and this is the book cover that I created with the technique. So this was the denim and the terracotta, which that's the sample I just showed you. So it started off like this, and then I added grunge board elements to it, and the grunge board had glimmer mist in sapphire, and it also had a little bit of gold acrylic paint added to it, and then round the edges was crackle paint in faded jeans, and again some glimmer mist in sapphire and a little bit of the gold acrylic, and then there's just fibres down the edge there, little crown and locks and things on there, again out of grunge board, and that's German scrap at the bottom, and I coloured that with a little bit of terracotta just so it blended in with the background that we created, and German scrap at the top, same thing again, and then there's just some charms that I added and some fibres. And unfortunately I can't share with you all the pages in here because I haven't got permission of the artists, but if I can get the clasp open I can show you the first page because that one's mine. So that's the first page. So all the pages in this book are shaped like this, and my theme was school days. They're all differently themed pages. So hope you like that technique, and I really hope that people try it out and use it. And thanks for watching. Bye!